What now does this actually mean? And of course, we're going to wait to see the final results. But what does it mean on the big issues? The reason she called this election was to have a firm hand, an overwhelming hand, as she went into Brexit negotiations.
Yeah, that's exactly why she called it, so that she could consolidate her position, so that she could lead the country with a strong position in negotiation with Europe. But if she actually ends up with a smaller majority than she had before, or no majority at all, then I think she has failed in that objective, and she will not really be in a position to lead that negotiation.
Well, then what does that mean? I mean, walk us through, if this result is by and large the result that it ends up being, what exactly does that mean for forming the government, for gathering a negotiating team, for going forward?
Well, look, we'll have to wait and see. She may end up with a very small majority, and therefore she can form a government. She may end up with not quite a majority, but with an ability, for example, to work with the Ulster Unionists to form a government. Or it may be that she cannot form a government, in which case we'll have a minority government. I don't think that there is an appetite for coalition government again in this country. And, of course, what that would mean is probably we'd be heading for another election fairly soon.
This is the most consequential departure for this country since World War II.
Yeah.
And we do not know, we haven't had one single iota of explanation about what life outside the EU is going to look like. We have no idea.
People have made assertions. I think what we haven't had is a serious debate about the details of how we're going to approach this negotiation and what can realistically be achieved. And I think that's part of the problem. So throughout the whole of the campaign, some very simplistic sloganizing was done about a stronger Britain in the world and so forth. But I think people are concerned, and businesses are concerned about how this is going to play out. And the trouble is that this election result, if it stands on the basis of this poll, is not going to give us a government with a clear mandate to conduct that negotiation. And if I was in Europe looking at this, I would say, wow, who are we going to be negotiating with? Are they going to be able to come to us with a clear negotiating position? Or are we in for a prolonged period of messiness?
Or might you think, well, you know, the people have spoken, maybe Brexit won't happen. As you know, the further you get away from the UK, the more incredulous and the more hope, or maybe you can call it dreaming or fantasizing, that this won't happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, of course, none of the parties, apart from the Lib Dems and, of course, the Scottish Nationalists, actually, were actually campaigning on a ticket to reverse Brexit or, indeed, to stay, to have a second vote on it.